Today, we are checking out and reacting to the news of the Sonicware Smpltrek Lofi-12. What do you guys think? I want to hear about it in the comment section, and you're definitely going to get my hot take from this. I hope you're ready for it. All right, what you got for me? Advanced model Lo-Fi group box sampler. Okay, this is straightforward. Intuitive beat making and jamming. Filters, curves, envelope editing. 2 LFOs, okay. 20 effect types for each track, okay. It's pretty good. Triggering. Okay, pretty much the same stuff from the Smpltrek. I see looks like you only have 8 pads this time. Okay. All right, so it is a Kickstarter. As someone that supported their original Kickstarter for the Smpltrek, I was all in. I also thought it was a pretty good idea for a company as small as Sonicware to do such a thing, and that was one of the main reasons why I supported the Kickstarter, because I liked the Liven series. One of the things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, it was the actual product on release, and that's not to the fault of Sonicware necessarily. It's just that I don't think that they made the most clear and concise observations of what other groove boxes had essentially. I said that in my original review, and I wanted to be fair to the audience, just like I wanted to be fair to Sonicware. We'll talk more about that. I will have both of these videos linked in the description box so you can check it out on your own and hear the lo-fi or whatever. This video is more about the details of how it works.
The Lofi-12 XT features a retro 12 kHz, 24 kHz sampling engine.
So basically the Lofi-12
12-bit sampler mode. This can turn any sound into a pleasant lo-fi sound. So please, use your own ears.
Yeah, I can hear some of the highs getting, it's breaking down some of the highs. And that's lo-fi in a nutshell.
24 kHz.
Not bad.
The Lofi-12 XT allows for easy editing of sample loops, as well as attack and release, enabling you to use any sound as an instrument.
Sounds very SNES-like.
There's a well-known vintage sampler technique where you sample a 33 RPM vinyl at 45 RPM and then slow it back down. This method produces that gritty lo-fi sound you'll recognize, and it's a sound that's still frequently heard today.
I do hear some of the SP1200 aliasing that people go crazy about, but I think there's a market for it, to be honest, because there's a lot of people that have a demand for a sound, especially if you are considering the new Rossum 1200. And I don't even know why I did the quotation marks, but the Rossum SP 1200 re-release, redone, redesigned by Dave Rossum. is about $4,000. I'm pretty sure we'll find out the price point for this in a second, but yeah, there was some things that I didn't like about the Smpltrek, to be honest, on release. But then, Dr. I believe his name is, and if I messed your name up, I do apologize. Definitely fixed it. I respect this man for, his hard work. It seems like he's doing it solo dolo, if not with just a small group of people. However, the workflow from the original Smpltrek was a bit daunting, and you can expect that when it comes down to any groove box. You have to get used to it, and that's one of the things I want to point out, from my experience from the original Smpltrek, and also the fact that the firmware on release wasn't the greatest. I expect it to be much better than what I experienced because I had the Smpltrek way ahead of time. Mind you, I did pay for it, so I don't want to hear people in the comment section saying this, that, and the third about shilling and all that stuff. I already talked about that. Here is the Kickstarter, and as you can see, when I roll down, there's people that's already supporting it. Sonicware does a very decent job. I like this company. Again, they're a small company, and they have done a pretty decent job with their Liven series. The other thing is the price point. The price point is about $379. The design itself is pretty new. I'm very curious about how it's going to work because it looks like they only have 8 actionable pads. And then the biggest selling point happens to be the lo-fi, the 12-bit sampler mode or whatnot. And I definitely want to weigh in on this. I did a reaction video last year for the Sonicware Smpltrek, and I held myself accountable for the way it was released, because it was released not in the sense of where it wasn't usable, but it wasn't what my audience would like. A lot of my audience, we look at drum samplers. I've reviewed the SP404 Mark II, of course, the MPC series, the Novation Circuit Rhythm, and many other samplers on my channel, and it didn't match up on release date. Now, I think this time around, they have figured everything out. The firmware is fully established, so it's less of a risk this time. However, I know a lot of people will be upset that they're releasing another lo-fi machine and all that. There'll be people that are excited. There are people that are backing up the Kickstarter, so that's a good sign for them, and I like that for them. I'm not going to be messy, totally messy, but I'm going to be honest with my audience, and that's the main thing about when I do reviews. I love the Smpltrek for what it is. However, I don't use it as often as I thought I would. And that probably has to do more so with the fact that I have a ton of gear and I need to downsize more so than it wasn't a good product as of now, because it's a better product than what it was on release. And I think Sonicware, and just being honest with Sonicware altogether, whether it be the Liven series or the Smpltrek, the workflow is always intensely difficult. And I think that's the thing that they should focus on in the near future with their next products. Intuitive workflow, and have it to where the most common of people that might not want to spend, $700 on an MPC one or $600 on an SP404 or whatever, it should be easy to use out the box, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with the tutorials that a lot of us put out there, it's a bit stressful to kind of work with these machines. And that's the only flaw that I see with a lot of their products. Other than that, though, I always think that if you are working with anything new in your repertoire, you will experience a time where you have to learn something. So I can't hold that 100% against them. There's always a learning curve. Even with my MPC one, when I did the original video, I had to learn a few things. It wasn't that difficult because I've always worked with MPCs in general. And, some of the new features were not that hard to discover, but that's not everybody. Last but not least, the one big issue that I have with reviewing gear is there's two sides of the coin. and I'm always going to be pro my audience and just tell them my pros and cons for something. And, you know, I'm not trying to demonize, and I'm not going to call out anybody for what they did, because I just simply think it's better to be non-controversial or non-condescending, or however you look at it when someone shares their negative opinion on a product or whatever, because clearly these companies don't want to do that. They want to sell product. However, like I said in my Can You Trust My Review video, it's not my job to pitch gear. It's my job to review it and give my take so that people can make their decision on their own. And I don't want people to trust my reviews off the strength that, you know, I could be a bit biased towards that company or whatnot, or even towards you guys, I guess. So check it out for yourself. I definitely want to hear from you guys. To the right of me, I have more content for that ass. Make sure that you subscribe. What do you think about this new Smpltrek Lofi-12 thingy? I definitely want to hear from you guys. I keep on saying that because I know the input's going to be great in the comments section. Get ready, set, go.